Welcome to another one of my occasional video blogs, my second. I'm going to tell the story of my relationship with the internet and why I'm so passionate about making sure that everybody has access to and can use the internet in the best ways possible. We got connected up to the internet in I think late 95, maybe early 96. I was unemployed at the time, long story, and I was in a strange town, only been living up where I live for a couple of years. My family were in another part of the country, and I suddenly found that I had a major health problem that I'd had to have an abdominal emergency operation for a few months before we got connected. And I got connected because it was a geeky thing to do, and I've always been interested in computers, and I've always been interested in information. My childhood ambition was to be a librarian, but it hasn't turned out quite like that. And then so we got connected up to AOL, chose our screen names, passwords, listened to the lovely beep, beep, beep of the dial-up. I must get that somewhere. There's a ringtone, I think, I'm sure we've got it somewhere. And I started exploring. Back then, all I knew was AOL. So all that came through the post. I'm sure there was a mass mailing out round about that time. And I got the disc and I said, we should do this. I managed to work out what we needed. Managed to be able to afford what we needed. And signed up, got connected. And then I started to explore the AOL interface, see what was there, what was on the net, what can we find. And I came across a place called Hope, which is a support group for women, partners, families who have issues of infertility in terms of surgical medical problems. And I'd just been told a few months earlier that if we were going to conceive, it would need to be done via IVF because of the medical issues that had developed, and it caused my emergency operation. And literally finding this group saved me. Somebody else was out there in the big wide world who knew exactly what was happening to me, what was running through my head, what I was angry about, what I was grieved about. I was on there chatting, making friends with people who were going through exactly the same as me. This thing was wonderful. Didn't matter that these people were mostly 3,000 miles away in America, or obviously spread across America, so they're even further away. They weren't people, because I didn't really know anybody in the local area. Certainly didn't have any work colleagues, and family were not helpful. Nobody at the within NHS actually said, "Can we find you a support group?" Because it's really difficult. Even the people at the IVF the private centre we're using for IVF were not exactly supportive or helpful. But I mean, they did their job, and were friendly, but they didn't really offer any counselling. I spent lots of time emailing back, using the message board, chatting with online chat. It was fantastic. How this was a wonderful, wonderful invention. It enabled me to get through a very, very rough period in my life. It's quite funny, I also sort of found astrology sites, and some of these people 18 years later are still my friends. We've gone through life together, and I never would have found these people if it hadn't been for the net. I would have been in a very, very difficult place. The net is just a tool. The computer is just a tool, just as a telephone is. What you're doing is you're connecting to people that are just like you. I moved out of that, still talking to people on that support group, but then I branched out, and I found people who were like me in other ways. They had a fanish obsession for some obscure television shows. I'm not telling you which ones. And again, it's that wonderful feeling that you're finding people like you who do the same things that you do. Doesn't matter where they are, because they're with you in your house when you're talking to them on the net. One of them, who I met in '99, is who I would consider as near a sister as possible, and she knows who I'm talking about. But she lives 3,000 miles away. But the virtue of the internet is that I can talk to her, chat to her every single day, via email, via messenger, everything. We know how each other thinks, and we know the highs and the lows that we go through. It never would have happened if we didn't have the internet. I went to university after I got over my second operation, and finally went to do a degree in information and communication management, because I loved the area, the information scene. It wasn't a techie coding. We did a bit, but it wasn't a techie thing. It was about the people, how to manage information, how to help people, how to communicate, basically. That's all the net is. It's a communication tool. I then started a PhD, in, sorry, screen went dead. Started a PhD and was looking at how change of information systems changes how an organisation functions, and wow, hugely interesting area. I won't go in there. Didn't complete for various reasons, but again, I've kept that interest going, so that's why I chime in on all these technical debates that are going on the net about organisations and communities, because that's what I studied for my PhD. It's sort of, I was like a kid in a candy shop. But and I've used it to shop, book holidays. We booked a holiday to the States a couple of years ago. Ordered on the net. Virtually all. And really, I thought, it'll just be 18 years ago. I just thought, well, it'll just be a phase. It's just going to be I don't know. I didn't envisage the journey that I would go on when I first hooked up. Nobody can, because the net takes you all over the place. It takes you anywhere where you would like to go. End of this video blog. Bye.